Hey everyone, welcome back. Today I'm going to be doing a first impression slash review slash wear time video with the Illuminare Moisturizing Mineral Foundation. This is a mineral foundation that's in liquid form and it looked like it would be a really good match for my skin tone. The shade that I have is Alabaster. I bought this on Amazon. I have already applied my Hourglass Veil Mineral Primer and let it sink in. So I'm going to go ahead and start by applying this to half of my face and not forget to stop on half of my face this time. So here it is applied to half of my face. The other half you can see my rosacea coming through. My rosacea makes my face, in my opinion, look darker than my neck and my chest. So, and I will take pictures outside in the sun so I can see how well the color matches. I forgot to put those pictures into my last wear test video, which was with the Kat Von D foundation. So I will remember them for this video. But here's what it looks like from the side. Under the studio lights. I feel like under sunlight it does look a little different usually, which is why I like to take the photos outside as well. All right, I'm gonna put this on the rest of my face. Okay, now that I have it on my entire face, I'm gonna go ahead and use Urban Decay's All Nighter Setting Spray. And yes, I prefer to spray the setting spray onto my beauty blender and pat that onto my face. Okay, so I finished applying at 1:28 p.m. I'll be back to check in several hours because I have to go out and do some things. So when I come back, I will do a check-in. I will say on initial application, I felt like I used tiny little dots around the face, and this has like the really nice little needle nose so you don't get out too much product. But these tubes are only half an ounce of product when most full-size foundations are a full ounce. So makes it more pricey. But anyway, I'll go into that later on when I do my check-in. It's 2:05 p.m., not very long after I apply, but I wanted to show you what the foundation looks like once it's kind of settled on my skin. So from the side, I feel like it looks like it blends in pretty well with my natural skin tone. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. I don't really feel like I'm wearing a ton of makeup. I feel like I just have like a very light tinted moisturizer on. I feel like it does a good job of covering up my imperfections in my skin, although it's not full coverage. So, you know, I have a couple of zits down here and I feel like you can see them. And I have like a dark spot here in my cheek and you can kind of see that as well. But really, I feel like this looks like a very nice sort of my skin but better type thing. And I feel like it has like it's a moisturizing foundation, so it's supposed to have like a luminous or dewy finish, and I do feel like it has that because I feel like I have like a nice glow going on. I'll be back in a couple hours for my next check-in to let you know how things are wearing. Okay, it's about 6:47 p.m. and I'm checking in. I'd say overall the foundation looks like it has worn so far pretty well for me. I feel like I look a little dried out on my forehead. I did have a little bit come off my nose because I was wearing sunglasses, and on this eye it's okay underneath, but over here it like settled into the fine line under my eyes just a tiny bit. Nothing that, you know, rubbing my finger under it couldn't fix. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit, but not to such gross close-up proportions. I was looking at some of my old foundation videos thanks to a couple of you who mentioned, hey, these foundation videos look much better and less creepy on how close I should go with the camera, so I'm going to go ahead and follow that for now. I also took a short video and some pictures outside so you can see what it looks like on my skin when it's in indirect sunlight and in natural sunlight. So I'm going to include a clip of that probably over here. So there I am in the indirect sun, and there I am in the sun, and this was just a few minutes ago, so just a little bit before 6:40 or whatever. I can't always do that because a lot of times in Florida during the summer it rains, and it will rain all day, so whether or not I can actually get outside to get sun when it's not raining is, you know, It's a crapshoot whether or not I have time to do it. It does say it has a dewy finish. I feel like it lives up to the dewy finish, and I really love that since I have dry skin. Yeah, the only place I'm feeling like it doesn't look really particularly great is right up here on my forehead, which is funny because I feel like on all of the other foundation tests, like my forehead has looked fine and it's been right here. But I do love that I have coverage right here. My face is like, you know, not red right there because like the foundation has not worn off, which has been fantastic. It's now 10:58, so almost 10 hours after application. And honestly, I feel really good about how this foundation wore throughout the day. I do feel like it came off a little bit on my nose, and part of that I think was from wearing sunglasses, and that basically broke the seal and just kind of like helped it wear away. I feel like a little bit of my redness is coming through at the center of my face and a little bit on my chin. Pretty much everywhere else, to me, it looks like I've got skin rather than like my red rosacea face going on. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit so you can see it. So unless like I'm under a magnifying glass, I feel like it looks pretty good at this point, which isn't bad considering, you know, it's been 9 hours. So since this is a first impressions video, I'm gonna go ahead and talk to you about the foundation now. This is the Moisturizing Mineral Foundation. It also comes in a couple different finishes. I happen to also pick up the Concealing Mineral Foundation, and I will say the one thing that I noticed is that the Concealing is darker and this is lighter. And this one is more sheer, like light to medium coverage, while this is more full coverage, so that may have something to do with it. So the packaging is pretty plain, but I like the fact that it's very, very functional. You basically have this little needle nose tip so you don't get out too much product. The company recommends that you only use a pearl-sized drop. But because it's so small, you can fit it into any makeup bag. Like, I would put it in my tiny makeup bag. This is a pencil case, and have no problems carrying it. It has a lot of claims. It claims that it's natural and hydrating. I would say it does a pretty good job on most of those because I do feel like I have a very luminous, dewy finish. I feel like it does a great job of evening out my skin tone. I feel like I don't look like I have rosacea, and I don't look like I'm wearing a ton of makeup, which is awesome because I really like that. It hides most of my redness. In fact, it did a really good job, I think, of hiding my redness for most of the day. It's just, you know, right here. And I could technically probably fix this with powder. I'm using the Sheer Lucy Minerals. So yeah, I can at least cover it up, and these two products will stack okay, so that's not so bad. I really like the fact that it doesn't seem to emphasize any of the lines around my eyes. It did initially, when I apply it, settle like right into this line here, and I was able to just take my finger and sort of buff it out. So I don't feel like it emphasized any lines, and throughout the day I was checking and I didn't notice that it really had sunk into any lines, so I really like that. Because it is so moisturizing, they recommend it for normal to dry skin. I would say if you have dry skin like mine and it's sensitive, this is probably a foundation worth checking out because it has been very hydrating for me, which I apparently need very, very badly. One of the other things that I really like about it is that it says it's cruelty-free, paraben-free, gluten-free, fragrance-free, and vegan. So it covers a bunch of different things that people are looking for in a foundation because there are several ingredients that I know that irritate my skin personally. And the biggest culprit for me, the number one culprit, the number one thing that is likely to break me out is if something has fragrance in it and it's a foundation or a skincare product. So I'm really glad it doesn't have fragrance. Since it lists SPF 20, I was curious to see what it lists for the active ingredients, and it has zinc oxide at 7%. It has zinc oxide at 7%, and then it also lists titanium dioxide at like 2%, 2.4%. So while I personally will not rely on my makeup to be SPF, it is a nice bonus on top of my SPF, because to use the full amount that you would need to cover your face and actually provide good protection for your skin, you'd have to use a whole lot of this. You'd go through this really fast. And since they recommend you only use a pearl-sized drop, there's no way that a pearl-sized drop can provide you with all the protection that you need for your skin. The company Illuminare recommends applying this with a nylon foundation brush, so basically a synthetic foundation brush, or their like foundation pad. Obviously earlier I used a damp beauty blender. I dotted it on my face and then went to town with the beauty blender. and I like that method a lot. Honestly, looking at it right now, I feel like it is a great match for my skin tone. This shade is Amalfi Alabaster, but it says on here just Alabaster. It doesn't have the first word in front of it. Let me talk to you about one of the downsides of this product. It's only available in 5 shades. I'm very lucky that the first shade is actually pale enough for me, because quite often the pale shades are never pale enough for me, so I like that. But because it's only available in 5 shades, you may not be able to find a shade match. It looked like the deepest shade was a deep olive, which I found interesting. I'm gonna go ahead and swatch it on my hand for you, and I'm gonna swatch it next to the other shade just so you can see what it looks like. So this is the moisturizing foundation. Oops. This is the moisturizing foundation on my skin, and I'm going to just blend it out a little bit. And now I'm gonna take the concealing mineral foundation, and now I'm just gonna blend them both out. I don't know if you can even see them both in my hand now, but this is the moisturizing one and this is the concealing one. So you can absolutely use the two of these together. And probably what I will do next time is use the more full coverage one, like right here on my chin where I have like some Z action going on, maybe on my nose, and then use this one, the more sheer coverage one, around my face. So the next thing I want to talk about is price. This is $29 for 0.5 ounces of product. Your average foundation that you get, like the Kat Von D or Urban Decay or Too Faced, they're all 1 ounce of product. So for comparison, it is more expensive than the rest of the foundations that you'll find at the department store. At least I feel like it is. At least for this first impressions video, I'm very happy with how it wore, the color match, because I feel like it looks really good color-wise. So I'm gonna have to say this foundation is Phyrra approved. If you are a pale skin girl like me and you are looking for a dewy, like moisturizing foundation that seems to be fairly fuss-free, I would definitely recommend checking out this. Like I said, it only comes in 5 shades, but I think the Alabaster is a pretty good match. My guess is it's somewhere between N0 and N5. I feel like it's pretty neutral tone. It doesn't pull pink on me. It doesn't seem to pull yellow. I feel personally like it just looks very nice and neutral. And I feel like my skin, I don't know, I feel like my skin looks really good with it. Yeah, I totally love this right now. Anyway, what do you think of the Illuminare Moisturizing Mineral Foundation? Please be sure to let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and share. And if you haven't already, be sure you subscribe to my channel. I make new videos weekly. Thank you so much for watching.